community. So sign up today out in the lobby. It's next weekend, so we'd love to get our teams filled up and everything set to go.
Crazy stuff, remember. But anyway, we'd love for you to come meet us, and we're going to be in the cry room after the service. And whether you're new here, whether you've been here a few months,
it's like holy water on my skin. Only thing that ever really makes me want to change your forgiveness is like sweet, sweet honey on my lips.
Will I walk through the wilderness? Blessed be your name. Every blessed name on the road marked with suffering. Though there's pain in the offering, blessed be your name. You give and take away. You give and take away. My heart will choose. Blessed be your glorious name.
You give and take. Really think about what they're saying and really take it to heart, because the message of this song is just in the vapor of your breath the planets form. If the stars were made, you have spoken. All nature and science follow the sound of your voice. Ooh, and as you speak, 100 billion creatures, so will Let's lift up our, and we'll sing again 100 billion times. God of salvation, see your heart in everything you've done. Every part designed in a work behind.
2, 3, go.
And I just thought it was so fun to play games with the kids, and they were just such fun, happy kids that warmed up to us really quickly.
One of my favorite memories of Tobiah Home is every day after lunch, the children would put their plates up on the counter for the volunteers and the staff to
It's so worth it. But the people were really what made this trip something. Building a friendship with Peter and Marianne, who are the house parents for children.
I think my favorite memories are the team and just what an incredible team we had. The other thing that
She's nervous. Help her to feel at home. And Kalinda, you know, it's interesting. Musicians feel desire to do. So that's where we're at with that at River of Life right now. Help clarify some things? Okay. All right. So Kalinda.
We hear the message, we soak it all in, and we leave, and we check off that box. But there comes a point where you need to become involved. You need to be part of it. Well, it's just a joy to be involved in His work, because it's like our mission, joining God in His.
The concept of the church, right, is that the church is not an event that we go to. The church is us in its ministry to each other.
I'm done. But then
I've said that some Sundays too.
you're not allowed to, though.
I'm like, oh, what did I do?
So anyway, once I got past that and got over that and realized that it wasn't even remotely time to shows your priorities. And our priorities should be serving and furthering the kingdom of God in as many ways as we possibly can. Not sure. Give it a try. Step out in faith and see what God leads you to, because he's probably going to surprise you, and it's going to be a really, really good surprise.
That's a good challenge. And you mentioned some great things there about how we can work through that and process through it. But stepping out, I like, too, the challenge of sometimes you just have to try some different things and figure out. You don't know what your giftings are until sometimes you just have to try some different things and figure out. You don't know what your giftings are until you step into some things and you've been exposed to some ministry in church. And so to worship in a posture of exaltation of your greatness. And so, Lord, that who's wandering in this room today, Lord, speak to them and call them back to yourself at the foot of the cross. For someone who has never surrendered their life to you, Lord, I pray that today they flourish for your glory. I pray for, Lord, just as we press on as a church into ministry and into this community, Lord, build relationships with this community through us. We know you're on my hair and dress okay because I'm on camera everywhere I go, right? But our neighborhood's talking about cameras and security systems because we want to protect our homes. Looking at Jesus' words here are going to cause us to consider where our treasure is. Because what we protect or what we pop up today is what really does draw our attention. What do we desire to have? What do we protect in our life? What is the goal in our life? What are we trying to? They didn't really care what they didn't have. There was still a contentment that they had in their hearts in the midst of it. I was talking to somebody this week about this message, and as we were diving into just the top, delivering this and topic after topic, he's speaking into with an authority over everybody. He's speaking as God, and he gives us so many different, and that's exactly right. You can't, that's the gospel. The morality and the life that Jesus lays out here is not a checklist of moth nor rust destroys, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. That's a great verse to underline. Being there and wrestling through this, and I used to be kind of confused by this passage because I felt like Jesus said something. He left topic in these middle verses. He went into another topic, and then he came back to topic person. And really, this is hard for me to hear, probably like it's hard for you to hear. Because usually what I treasure is something I'm seeking something from. Wisdom to the heart. Pay attention at the heart level. And so as you think back through some of those questions, where's your treasure? Don't have treasures. It's almost non-human. We'd probably argue that to have a treasure of some sort it's so accumulating that we put a high value on. So we work to attain them and we pursue them and we are treasuring them. How many times in life have we said this? I want, and we might say something that we want. Well, how much effort? Issues of the soul. He's talking about living in the here and now versus our eternal things. He's going to do out of this. So why? It's really simple. Jesus says they wear out. So we better note something right here, though. What is Jesus not saying? Okay? In the midst of what of my time, energy, and protection and working for, if I looked at my own life, would I see? And what Jesus is here, that they were blessed by God, that God had poured out his blessing upon them if they had houses and clothing and all these different things, much like it would appear for us. We would say, God's blessing me with. Consider it. But it's true that there is an investment that's eternal where we see what's going on in the now. Even now, in God and man. That's an eternal investment. It's an investment into people for the glory of God through the message of the gospel. When I walk in here and I see children, I'm thrilled. I mean, this is the way the building should be. Our building should be used and worn out. If it's not being worn out, it means we are not really using it as a tool. ministry couple that joins the field there in Kosovo. But this is a country where they can literally count the number of believers. We went to some cities when we were there well as we pour into each other. So it takes resources and an investment for discipleship to happen. Guys, way to go. And let's just keep pressing into that as we, as a church and as a people of God. It really is the will or the inner being of the person, or the center of our spirit. It orients everything. So where your heart is, it's like he changed his thought, like he jumped out of what he was saying. But when I saw this question about where's your focus, it started to make a lot more sense to me. Because there's a series of thoughts. It's like all you see. It's like, oh, there's the deer. How did I miss that? Our eyes, as they search, as they look, that's where the mind's focus is going to go. So where the eye looks, the mind's attention is going to be. The eye is about seeking things that are above. Set your mind on things that are above, not on things on earth. Philippians 4:8 unpacks this more. Finally, brothers, whatever's true, whatever's honorable, whatever's just, whatever's pure, whatever's lovely, whatever's commendable. Or is it an automatic button to prosperity? Jesus is saying, let go and look to him. This is your heart. This is the key to unlocking chapter 6. So who are you serving is an all-important question. Is it God? And Sky is deaf as can be, although I still think she has selective hearing, because there are times I know she paid attention, her head will turn, she knows what we're saying. It has to be big enough that it can survive outside most of its life, because it's going to live kind of in the garage and out in the pen and back and forth. And so we said that. So I had to have enough size, but not be too huge of a dog that it eats us out of house and home, right? Well, it was fine until the two masters were together. And then suddenly, I above, or on the earth below, or in the waters below. You shall not bow down to them or worship them, for I, the Lord, am your God, a jealous God. Now serve, and it points to deeper things. And sometimes that stuff is there to provide my comfort. Or what this would look like in your life is maybe you need to make the conscious decision right now, and retirement. This is the biggest group of people, and we would have to ask the question of how it's easy to hit retirement and say, I've done my time now. And now is my turn to just to enjoy what I've worked for all these years. Now I'm really going to live at this point. So a long time back, and the words were lost. It's an Irish song, old Celtic song, O ruler of all. When we sing that, could that be the response of your heart today? Today's response.